Hi everyone, my name is Mary Green and I am one of your Mary B. Austin PTA art teachers. While you guys are learning from home, Mobile County is providing art lessons for each of you. So Ms. Couch and I wanted to do something a little bit different and give you a creative break and maybe teach you some things that you wouldn't otherwise get to do in the classroom. Today I'm going to show you how to make a print using shaving cream and food coloring. Now you can just watch me do this and see how everything comes out, or if you have these supplies at home and your parents say it's okay, then you can also do this at home. If you were doing this at home, here are the supplies that you will need. You will first need some shaving cream. Now it doesn't matter what brand shaving cream you use, as long as it is the foamy kind, the white kind. The gel I don't think works, but the white foamy shaving cream, that works, any brand. You will need some food coloring, and again, it doesn't matter which colors you use, which brands you use. I'm going to use primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue. If you have different colors at your house, you can use those colors. Also, if you have liquid watercolor at home, that works just as well. You can use whatever you have. You will need a tray. I'm using a cookie sheet, and I put some foil on it. The foil is optional, but it just makes it a little easier to clean up if you have it. And any kind of tray is fine. This is just one that's washable, and I didn't mind getting it dirty. We're going to sort of marbleize our food coloring into our shaving cream, so you need something to stir it gently with. You can either use something small like a toothpick, or you can use a pencil. You can wash the pencil off when you're finished. We're also going to need kind of a spreader and a scraper, and a ruler works great for this. You may have something else that you think would make a good tool to spread and scrape, and that's fine too. And you will need paper. It really can be any paper, any size, as long as it fits inside your tray. So you need it to be smaller than your tray. You can use smaller than this too. All right, I am going to flip my camera around so that you can see my hands working. If you are doing this at home, make sure that you have on a smock or an apron or an old t-shirt. This food coloring does stain if it gets on your clothes, so you want to try to keep that off of your clothes and off of anything else in the house. All right, I'm going to make my print on a piece of paper. I think I would like to make this into a card instead of a full piece of paper. So I am going to fold it over, and I'm going to make my corners match before I press it down. Now you can do this like I'm going to, and I'm just going to try to do it on the front of this card. You can also do it on a full piece of paper, more like this way, or you can get a smaller piece of paper just to kind of experiment. Sometimes when we're doing something new, it's best to start off small. All right, so I'm going to put this down just so I can see about how much shaving cream I'm going to need for my print. So my shaving cream is going to cover about this much room. Now I have a pencil, and I'm just going to sort of gently mark where I want that to go so that I don't cover my whole tray with shaving cream if I just need it in this place. All right, so we do need the creamy shaving cream, the white kind, the foam. Now shaving cream is interesting because in the canister, it's a liquid. And if you have taken science and talked about this different states of matter, you have your solid, your liquid, your gas. Well, this is a liquid that has gas in it. And when you shake it up, and I'm going to put some just kind of inside that space that I drew, it turns into a foam. Now a foam is kind of a state that's in between a liquid and a gas and a solid. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's its own little state. All right, so we want to smooth this out so that we have kind of a solid surface. And I'm going to use my ruler, and I'm going to try to fill up that rectangle that I drew. And if you go a little bit outside of the lines on this, it's okay. I just didn't want you to have shaving cream over your entire tray if you just needed a little bit like this. So I'm making my nice little, mostly even rectangle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want to sort of have some shaving cream over the area that you are going to print onto your paper. And you don't want any foil to show through if you didn't put enough shaving cream, you can always put a little more. It doesn't have to be really thick. You just need a nice little shaving cream pillow to put your color on. Also, if you didn't make your area quite big enough, or if you miss a spot, you can always go back and kind of reprint any area that you missed. Okay, so that's pretty smooth. Now I have an extra little tray over here, and I'm just going to scrape my extra shaving cream off of my ruler. You could also just scrape it straight into a trash can or into your sink. Either way is fine. Now I'm going to use primary colors, and I'm only going to pick 2 so that we can see what happens when we mix 2 primary colors. And you can use any 2. Now if you use 3, you may get brown or some kind of gray colors, and that's okay if that's what you want. But in my experiment, I want to see what happens when I mix 2 primary colors. So I'm going to start with yellow and blue. Our drops, we don't need to cover the whole surface, but we just need to put, it's kind of a big drop. See how I'm spreading them out across my shaving cream? Now when yellow food coloring comes out, it looks a little orange, but it really is yellow. Something like that. And now I'm going to take my blue, and I'll put drops of blue, and I'm trying to be careful and gentle and just squeeze one little drop in each space and not make a big puddle. And I don't have to cover all of the white. Maybe one more little drop here and there. I think that's pretty good though. If we need more, we can always add more later. Now you can take either a toothpick or a pencil, and you don't want to just go and kind of muddy it up, but you want to gently come through your colors and you start to swirl. Now I'm not pushing all the way through to the bottom where my tray is. I'm just gently sort of swirling those on top. And you may notice that where my yellow and blue are meeting, you're getting this beautiful green color, because yellow and blue, 2 primary colors, make green, which is a secondary color. So when we swirl these 2 primaries together, we can also learn that yellow and blue make green. And this is a really fun way to learn that and hopefully remember it. So I'm going to keep swirling. This is really pretty, guys. Now if you get a little rough with it, you may get sort of a different kind of print, but that's part of this process, is learning from what we do, and not everything has to be perfect and beautiful, but we learn a lot from the process. So even if you were to, say, accidentally press too hard or zigzag your way through it instead of being patient and really swirling it, at the very least you might see that what color you get when you mix your 2 colors that you use. And so I can see that yellow and blue make green. Now if you over swirl, if you do a little too much in one spot, you might get less of a variety of colors. I like to stop my swirl just in time so that I can still see a little bit of whatever colors I used. That way I get 3 colors instead of just 1 solid color when I'm finished. Now I am tapping a little bit on the bottom. Some of this is thinner over here, but I'm not scraping through it. I'm trying to make sure that I don't make a big blob. But again, if you end up making a big blob, then you have learned, and you may not make a big blob next time, and you will at least know that yellow and blue make green. I think this is really cool looking. All right, so here comes the magic. We need to get this beautiful design onto our piece of paper. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to very carefully try to line up my paper with my shaving cream. And when I think I've got it just about right, doesn't have to be totally perfect. Now I don't want to kind of move it back and forth. I just want to gently press down to make sure that I get that color on all of my paper, because that is a print. A print is just when you transfer the image from one thing to another. Just like if you see something on your computer and you hit the print button, then it transfers that image to the paper. So we are transferring the image we made. I'm gonna hold this down to pull it up onto our paper. Now I know this kind of looks like a big swirly mess, even though it's pretty, but you'll see the design more when we scrape it. You can scrape yours straight into the trash can or into a sink if someone says that's okay. I have an extra tray just so I don't have to leave the video. So I'm gonna put my extra tray here and use that same ruler. Start at one end. Let's see, I may need to turn mine this way. Sorry about that. And you scrape. Whoa, that is so cool. Every time I do this, I'm still amazed. All right, so turn your paper, scrape a little bit more off, and just keep using your ruler or your scraper until you get most of your shaving cream off. All right, I think that's beautiful. Notice my hands are a little messy. You'll want to go wash yours before you touch anything else. And this will need to dry, but isn't that a really pretty piece of artwork? And if you did this as a card, I think anybody would be happy to get this in the mail. If you are able to do this at home, I cannot wait to see what you do. You may want to experiment with some different colors and see what colors you come up with.